Whether you want to believe it or not, I think that you have some dark energy to you. I have dark energy. We all have dark energy. This is the world of polarity, where there is light, there is darkness. But I want to tell you that by you not tapping into your darkness, that this sexual transmutation that we should all be experiencing, meaning that we use that sexual energy to create, to live our life filled with our desires, that fulfilling life, that you'll never get to taste that until you're really honest about your dark energy. And I want to tell you why you're probably not tapping into that right now and what it's costing you. But at the end of the video, I promise you, I'm going to share with you how you can tap into this energy, why it's so important, and some practical things that you can start doing so that you don't have to keep running from this kind of energy. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and like this video. And in the comment section, I want to know for you, why do you think most people are afraid of tapping into their dark energy? I want to hear directly from you what your thoughts are around it. I've got some thoughts. I'm going to share them in this video, but I want to hear what you actually have to say about this interesting topic. So I'll tell you right now, right out the gate, why most people are not tapping into their dark energy, why I didn't tap into my dark energy, why I ran from my dark energy, and why I'm learning to become friends with my monsters, because we all have them. So I find with men that men typically don't want to tap into that dark side. Now, one of the big reasons why is because society really shames us, especially in Western culture. We really get taught to demonize anything that is dark or negative or not positive. And so this really translates into toxic positivity, where everything is just full of sunshine. Like just life is supposed to be rainbows constantly just pouring out of your asshole. And that's life. And that when things get hard, it's like, but look on the positive side. And it's like, no. Sometimes things just suck. I'll never forget when I've shared with you guys my journey with my sister. She was hit by a drunk driver. She's lived with severe brain trauma. And she had gone into the hospital. It was really dark. We didn't know if she was going to make it. And I reached out to a dear friend of mine at the time, and I was like, this is what's going on. And she said something so profound and so simple. And she said this, and it made me feel less alone in my darkness, which was, Arica, this just sucks. And those words, as simple as they were really profound, because while everyone else was like, but look on the bright side, like, I didn't want to look on the bright side. I wanted to be with the fact that her situation just sucked. And the reality is there are things that have happened in your life that just suck. And you can't squeeze rainbows out of that. They just suck. And so society tells us now, it's like, oh, just be positive and turn those defeats into lessons. And listen, there are times where those things can be applicable, but sometimes we just gotta sit in the shadows. We have to sit in the darkness with what has happened in our lives and be like, this happened and it just sucked. But when we're constantly trying to look at the positive side and we're not sitting with that, what we're doing is we're lying to ourselves. We're denying a part of us that actually needs to grieve those moments, that needs to go sit with those moments and go, hey, that shit was not okay. And we just talked about this today in my Spiritual Alpha program. It's the year-long mentorship. And if you've not joined that, trust me, you want to join that, because this is experiential training. It's not just me coaching you guys every week, but it's an actual experience where you get to show up and you get to lead as a spiritual alpha. So you can go to my website, check that out, or you can message me on email or on Instagram. But they're having some profound realizations, things that they have wrestled with and been in turmoil with their entire lives. And now they're like, I never saw it from this perspective. And we were talking about that dark energy in the group. And it's like, yes, these energies, these experiences that we had are meant to be alchemized into something good. But you can never alchemize something that you're in a constant state of denial with. I watched this brilliant interview with Angelina Jolie, and they're like, what do you have to say to people who are going through a hard time? And she was like, go through it. Go right through it. And that's what society doesn't want us to do, because it wants us to be a bunch of pussies who's like, no, I just need to live in the bright side of things, and I just need a participation award for life. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. Life does not work that way. That there are things that you've encountered and you've experienced, and those things are just laying in your heart, and they're festering like fucking cancer, just burning a hole through you, and it's affecting every aspect of your life. It affects your relationships. It affects your mental health. It's how you see the world. It affects you financially. It affects you how you show up in your career. There's not one facet of your life that these things that have happened to you that they're not affecting today. You see, they have built a root system within your heart, within your nervous system, within your subconscious, within your mind, and you will continue to live off of that root system, whatever it produces: anguish, frustration, mental health issues, loneliness, depression, anxiety, feelings of unworthiness, lack, feeling like you're never enough. It will continue to produce that for the rest of your life. The next car, the next vacation, the next piece of ass, the next job promotion, none of that shit is gonna make it any better, because your root system is infiltrated with pain that you refuse to go through. And this is becoming friends with the dark side. It's finally having the courage to say, I am not going to run from that anymore. In fact, I'm going to take that energy, I'm going to make it my bitch, I'm going to heal through it, and I'm going to alchemize the shit out of that until I rise to the top and I'm shining like never, ever before. So how does it affect us sexually? Well, sexually, think about it. When you don't face your darkness, when you don't own it, when you don't become friends with your monsters, we call this inner child work, we call this shadow work. When you don't face those things, you are living in an element of denial in your life. And so those dark things, when they don't get dealt with, what you end up doing is turning those over to addiction, pornography, alcohol, excessive working out, excessive overachieving, all of these things, because you don't want to deal with the pain, and it just continues to weigh you down because the real you never gets handled, because those experiences unfortunately have defined you, have impacted you, whether you want to be conscious about it or not, whether you want to own the fact that they are still running your life in the background or not, they are. And so when you deny that aspect of yourself, you are denying a part of you. You're telling that inner child, hey, shut the F up and don't show up here and don't have a voice. Well, guess what? Those parts of you that don't get redeemed, they never show up in the bedroom. That ruthless warrior, brutal warrior inside of you, that, as Jordan Peterson likes to say, that inner monster inside of you never ever shows up in the bedroom. So your partner constantly feels like they're not that into you. They don't desire you as much. Why? Because the real you, as Eminem said, you know, the real Slim Shady please stand up? The real you never actually shows up because there's a part of you that is still hidden. Trust me, if this is hitting your heart and you're like, Arica, shit, I never thought of this ever before, then continue to pay attention to this, because I promise you that this will change your life, that these are the keys to your victory that have been hidden in the ground for far too long, that are ready to spring up, ready to bring you life, to turn the things inside of your heart, open up the doors so that you can be free. So when it comes to sexually, when we're hiding parts of ourselves and we resort to pornography or other addictions, what it does is it drains our energy. When we don't reclaim, when we don't alchemize that energy, the fullness of who we are and our potential and who we can be never gets experienced in the bedroom, which is where we procreate life, which is where we can manifest and create our desires from. It's like, you know, they tell stories about men who are high achievers, and when they start having affairs or when the sex life with their wife is really good, there's an element of them that they start thriving to some degree. Granted, when it comes with affairs, there's the dark side of that eventually karma comes and bites them in the ass severely, whether they die of cancer, they get in a car accident, somewhere that inner saboteur eventually shows up and you have to pay the piper, and you eventually pay for that. But when a man is in a healthy relationship and he's thriving sexually, he starts making more money, he starts succeeding more. But the reality is you can never show up in the fullness of that intimacy if you're not being sincere, if you're not owning those very dark dark places inside of you and alchemizing those things and becoming friends with those monsters. Because I guarantee you, women want to see that monster side of a man in the bedroom. They want that warrior. I like to think it like those, like the Scottish Celtic warriors, you know, it's like where these guys were just taking women. It's like, I've said this over and over again. It's like, why these romance novels where the guy just takes the woman and lifts up her skirt and bends her over? Why do these sell so well? Why did 50 Shades of Grey sell so well? It's because there's that element of a woman that always is going to want to feel your full masculinity, not some half-ass masculinity, not some manufactured masculinity that you're bullshitting your way through, but you're just faking it, hoping you're going to make it. No, no, no. A woman's intuition pierces right through that, and she senses your bullshit. And so she can't fully surrender her body to you because she doesn't feel like you are fully a man, that there's still that little boy that you're operating out of, that you've not redeemed, that you've not gone back to heal and to I want to say interregulate, but you want to bring him into your life, heal him, alchemize that so that you can get the fullness of you. No, no, no. She knows that you're faking it. And so she can't fully surrender her mind, her body, her heart, her soul to you. And I've seen plenty of women get in relationships with men who are faking it, who look like alphas on the outside, but on the inside, they're broken, hurting little boys because they refuse to alchemize things, because they continue to buy society's lies that feed them the bullshit of, if you just get the next car, if you get the next promotion, if you buy a bigger house, if you get the vacation home, if you take that vacation to the south of France and post it on Instagram, like, then you have made it. No, 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 no. You keep chasing shit while leaving your inner child behind. And the spiritual alpha way is the guy who is ready to heal, ready to alchemize, ready to go to the next level in his life. And he's not afraid of confronting his demons. He's tired of bullshitting his way through life, faking masculinity, when he knows that he can actually become a full heart-centered man when he has the capacity and the strength to be able to heal, to be able to face his shit, so that when he shows up in the bedroom with his partner, that all of his raw masculinity shows up in that bedroom, that there is power with every thrust, every energy that he puts inside of in her body, that there is real masculine power there. And in that power, she can surrender to you. And that is where the sex magic happens. That is where the co-creation happens. That is where miracles get birthed out of that sexual intercourse, when two people show up with the authenticity of who they really are, not hiding themselves, not running and dealing with those things that have been taken away from their identity all along. When they alchemize that energy, everything begins to change. Listen, your sexual energy as a man, even if you're a woman watching this, is a beautiful thing. And there may be parts of your sexuality that are lying dormant because you've lived a life stuck in shame. You've lived a life of feeling like you aren't worthy of love, that you're not lovable, that you have to do life all alone, that you just have to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. But my darling, I want to tell you that those parts of you are meant to be restored if you will so go on the journey. If you will go on that spiritual alpha mentorship journey with me for the next year, and people start getting results within the first week. So that energy can be there. You can experience that bliss, but it will cost you everything in terms of not holding on to lies, not building your life out of bullshit facades that eventually deteriorate, that mask that you keep wearing that people eventually will see through. You know, most of us, we live life afraid that people are going to see through our mask. Why not, instead of living life afraid that one day they're going to see the real us, that maybe we're not as wonderful as we proclaim ourselves to be, that maybe we are a piece of shit. You actually aren't. But if that's your story, that's what you believe. Instead of living life fighting to keep the mask on, it's time to let that fucking mask come off, because there's a more powerful version inside of you that is waiting to come out. There is a capacity for life that is waiting for you to taste the nectar of it, to experience it. There's a whole side of lovemaking that you don't even know about, that pornography doesn't even do it justice, of the magic that you can experience with the love of your life. But that is your potential. That is your capacity. But only you can decide to make that happen for yourself. You are the deciding factor. When you make that commitment and you say, yes, I am going to be that spiritual alpha. I'm going to be that next version of myself. I'm not going to keep wearing the mask. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and I'm going to alchemize the shit of this. I'm out of this. I'm going to become all that I am destined to be, because there is a legacy that I am meant to leave behind, that there's a community around me who is really needing my support, that there is a family that is needing me. There are children who are looking up to me. There's a wife who's depending on me and who wants to respect me, and I want to rightfully earn her respect and not bullshit my way through this with some fake ass masculinity of just buying shit and achieving shit while inside feeling like shit. You're like, no, I want the real deal, Arica. And if that's you, I applaud you, my darling, because that's the kind of fervor that that spiritual alpha has, where he carries that fire, that torch. If you think of like the Olympian torch, that he lives with that Olympian torch inside of him. It's not a one-time event when he makes some great achievement, but it is a way of living, that he carries that fire on the inside of him as the spiritual alpha of his life, as the emotional warrior of his life. Listen, if this is speaking to you, I really want to hear what part of this really fired you up. Tell me in the comments section. I want to know what resonates for you, what speaks to you. Maybe you're watching this video and you're like, no one has ever told me, Arica, that I have the potential to become powerful. No one has told me that those feelings of unworthiness that I've been carrying my whole damn life is actually a lie that I've been believing. That is actually this subconscious programming that I've had because of some childhood shit that happened to me, but that I actually can have redemption and freedom. That I don't have to be a slave. I don't have to be a victim. I don't have to live that way for the rest of my life, but that I get to experience freedom and the beauty and the power and the rawness of that freedom. If you're like, I've never heard this before, please, I want to hear in the comment section. Tell me, or you can message me on Instagram. It's at the Arica Angelo. Arica is with an A. You guys do know that, right? Arica is with an A. So listen, I love you so much. You know, it's my heart to really champion you guys. It's my heart to see you free. It's my heart to see you loved. But more importantly, it's in my heart to see you believing in yourself again, and not some fake manufactured self-confidence, but I'm talking about the real shit, that blue magic shit. If you know what I'm talking about, tell me in the comment section, but you know what I'm talking about, the realness of it. There is a real you waiting to come out, waiting to be seen, waiting to be respected, waiting to be celebrated, waiting to be honored. Like, that part of you is real. And if you need a coach like me to help remove the rubbish and the shit so that you can see your greatness, that you can see your glory, then I'm happy to go on that journey with you and my spiritual alpha mentorship. So make sure that you like this video. Tell me in the comments where this spoke to you, but more importantly, know, my darling, that you're loved. Now let's go on the journey of championing you to become the greatest person that you are meant to be. I love you. Here's another video to support you. Let it speak to you. Let it speak to your heart. And I can't wait to hear from you and deliver another video to you. I love you guys. I'll see you in one of my live videos. Take care. I'll see you soon.